We're recording.
That's hot.
All right, let's get it. Hello, love. You are now being introduced to episode 2 of Gasoline Rainbows, Ramblings of a Right-Brain Libra, and I am having the very first person I've wanted to interview, and honestly could probably be the last, because when I tell you, I told y'all the first 3 episodes might be, throwaways. So if that's the case, I'm just going to reach back out for episode 4, and it's for a myriad of reasons. But I don't want to do you the injustice. So I'll simply say this. And first, I got to give my disclaimer. I don't care if you're in uniform or not. I still can't say someone's first name out of respect for all of my leadership. You know how many people are like, that's not, I've been retired this long. I can't, but I will do my best, but you're in uniform. So I am going to introduce you as Lieutenant Colonel Warren, but I don't even like the taste of that. Like, I can't. You've done such amazing things. And by the way, before I get into, because like you said, as we're progressing and you're building this network, you are the CEO and founder of CIM. And this is an entire production. This is an actual show. Like, you've created out of, I guess, essentially kind of starting the same thing. You have a show, but you now have this entire network doing that while you wearing the uniform. We've known each other almost like 17 years, I want to say. Yeah, about that, right? It has to be between 15 and 17. I didn't work for you until like a year or two later. But it's crazy with all your accomplishments. It would take a whole 90-minute sitting down with the production team saying, let's create this biopic of this super crazy, amazing leader, someone I still look to as a mentor. I think you've been the most, I want to say most consistent. You are doing all the things I've always expected you to do, that you've always done, that I've always seen. So even in us talking a few seconds ago, when I say, I think that, I use words like ripples into tides or infinite galaxies, because I'm in a belief that someone can be all things and nothing at the same time. And there's a reason why there's people like you in these little pivot points of my life. So beyond that, because I ain't got on my reading glasses, it would take 18 episodes. I only get 26 minutes. So I will say, I can guarantee you when I talk to my dad today that he will have seen you played. Because you guys made it to the Sweet 16, right?
Well, the year after, so when I was hooping, we went to the first round. We beat Indiana in the first round of the tournament, and we lost to Cincinnati in the second round. But the year after, they made it all the way to the Sweet 16. The great old
Shut.
Kent State University, the Golden Flashes.
Oh my goodness. Aside from that, can you please share with my growing audience a little bit about yourself, especially let's talk about CIME.
Well, ultimately, I'm Rashaun Warren, who most people say Lieutenant Colonel Warren, but I don't see myself like that. I just see myself as Rashaun Warren. I'm a person who came into this universe with a path to follow. The path hasn't been easy, but the path has been beneficial and rewarding. I come from a single family household. My mother is Beverly Jenkins, and everything that I've done up to this point, I've done the things that she's told me, or at least in my latter part of the years, all the lessons that she gave me initially. I just rocked with them. And since I rocked with them, I ended up where the universe wanted me to be. I'm the oldest of 5. All of us are kind of super close together. Where I think all of us probably like within 7. We all came to pass in the 7-year period. How about that? So we all were elementary school together. We were all in high school together, and we've just grown and we've grown. So we've been through a lot, but the world in us was hardened. And I'm a military person, and military people do certain things or go through certain things, right? We're always away from the house. We're always hoping that the family is doing well. And I can honestly say that this family of mine, those are some OGs, man. They're in the game all the way from occupations to the schoolhouse. And I can lastly say I'm a thankful person. I am very thankful for what the Lord has blessed me with and the characteristics that have been bestowed upon me, and I try to maximize them every day. That's me.
Well, let me say this, so because I didn't get a chance to share that with them, but I think that consistently you have been that person. So, I was a staff sergeant, right? And then I actually became a senior non-commissioned officer the day me and my husband were driving off to go to recruiting school. But I would listen to you because you mentored everyone around you, and I had mentioned that I felt like you were very nurturing, but from a foundation point, I was telling my daughter safe spaces doesn't have to be like physical safe spaces. You provide a safe space in just your leadership and your guidance. And you're very kind of hand in your pocket type. Not that you do, but you are very introspective. You share life lessons. You're very humble in that you don't have to tell people of your accomplishments. The things I learned from you and about you, I would have never known if I wasn't nosy, digging all up in your life. You were mad at me about missing a bus. I mean, But anyway, even as I look at for you now, I thought all the pictures I've seen of him in you, because you're a positive person. I want to get into the fact that I think, if we're just going to be honest, you are a black man, you are tall, you are cut, and people might think that you are a criminal. You're a bad person. You're this, or they're expecting some type of energy. But you have always said, and have always been a positive person without having to be less of anything. And I realize that that's how you are when I see you with your mom and all the pictures with your wife, your son, and all their accomplishments. I wanted to know how, like you said, you have these blessings, you have a purpose in the universe. I have the, hashtag each breath forward. Where does see I am me from? What led you to name it that, especially as you're building it as this network? What was the foundation? Where is it going? But I'm intrigued by the name alone. So if you could share a little bit about that as well.
Well, I would start off so see me. Some motivational network meant to pick people up, let you know that if you got to see yourself to be yourself, self discovery, self realization. I come from the hardball streets. When I say I come from the streets, I come from the streets. My mom worked a lot by herself, temporary jobs, just trying to make it happen, and I had to take on a mantle of being, I guess, like a parent figure while she was out trying to provide for us. And as I came up, I endured a lot of things, a lot of hard lessons learned. And fortunately, I had the Boys and Girls Club, the Panther Boys and Girls Club of Fort Worth. There were some individuals there that helped us grow, showed us some things. I'd never been out the city until I started playing ball, and I was able to see other things. And then I was like, man, there's other stuff out there. I got to see some more. And then I wanted to be more. And I think that's when the journey of me becoming my truest self started to come about. And that's why See I Am Me came to pass, is when I had the opportunity to say, hey, there's some other kids out there just like me who hadn't seen things. So you know what? I want them to understand themselves. I want them to understand that they have these strengths, even though they'll fail a lot. I want to have them go after the passions that they have within themselves. I want them to understand that though you're in the streets and it seems like things aren't going to work out, you can still adopt some values that can help you go on a transformative journey. Personal growth is not limited to only those with resources. Personal growth is to those who want to attack it. And it took me a long time. I tell people all the time, half my life I didn't believe in myself. Half of my life I didn't like myself because I was just coming up so hard, and I was like, me, why do I gotta fight through this? Why do I gotta miss a meal? Why do I gotta stay in the garage? Why am I staying on the street? Why am I failing these classes? Why I'm in this school and I don't got all the pages in the books? You know what I'm saying? Why I don't have a dad? All of these things were going through my head. And then at one point I had this epiphany. I was like, Ray, man, if this thing gonna happen, you're gonna have to do it yourself. Going to have to come to that realization that though there's going to be people out there to help, you're going to have to lean on somebody at some point. And that's what See I Am Me does. See yourself, be yourself. And every day I try to post something positive. Individual who never really had somebody to say, hey, you can do it. I have the Boys and Girls Club, but I didn't have another man in my family. One man in my family as I came up after my grandfather, but he passed away early, that said, hey, Ray, you going to be somebody? So I'm gonna be the one to say you're gonna be somebody and you're gonna make it. I'm gonna tell people to believe in themselves so much that people might dislike them because they're gonna say, "Man, I'm so tired of that guy believing in himself." Believe until you can't believe anymore, and that's my message. That's why I run the program. That's why I'm trying to start up, and I'm gonna take it as far as it'll go until time. But you know what? I'm comfortable about it. My son told me I want to do that. I want to help people. I'm doing something right.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not even you said some things about your life that I didn't know, and I want to ask you. So, you don't have to disclose age, right? But you had you're what?
I'm 48.
I didn't know
Yeah.
you were older than me. I really
Yeah.
thought you were much younger. Oh, I really
No.
got to get back in shape. See,
I'm just
her.
holding on.
Is that what it? Well, 48. So then, what would you say if you could go back 38 years and tell 10-year-old Rashaun Warren, especially from someone who says, believe in yourself, but also, wondering the why do I have to endure? What would you say to 10-year-old Rashaun Warren?
If I had to go back and 10-year-old me, you know what? I wouldn't even give him the secrets to life, right? Out of all the stuff that I experienced, I would just tell him, like, man, life won't always feel easy, bro. But you're stronger than you already know. Like, you're going to face confusion. You're going to have a bunch of questions, moments that feel way too big, and none of them are going to break you. You just got to trust that you're going through every challenge, and you won't understand it yet. But if you stay the course, you keep going, you won't always see the finish line, but every step you take is shaping you into someone wiser, kinder, more capable than you can imagine right now. You're going to be okay, more than okay. You're going to become someone that other people and yourself can be proud of. Your mama's going to love it. Your sisters and brothers are going to cherish it. Those who you mentor and grow are going to appreciate you. Then you're going to become something that other people have never seen before, only because you were willing to keep fighting.
Really kind of had to catch my breath. And you said, I would tell them the keys to life, just the keys to success. But as you continue to tell the story, I take from it that you mean you need to go through these lessons. I can't pad you with the secrets of life. I can't pad you with by not allowing you to explore, and endure those hardships that that not only shape us and that are our foundation, but how we receive and put out into the world. And so I think that's, at first I was like, oh, would I? Because me, I can go back, I'd be like, listen, it's hard out here. I'm saying, like, you gonna not just know, you gonna be you. But in saying that, I was like, oh, would I? But then as it unfolded, I think that that's something that honestly is one of the most profound things that you can take. Like, as I reflect back, what would I, if I knew the answers to those lessons at times that I swear many times I did not want to be the homeless, without food, like you said, suffering traumas and abuses. I don't know, what I would, or I guess how to word it, but I sure feel like that's the very amazing take on it. So, wow.
I say you gotta
Do
think
you have
about it.
five?
I'm that guy that my teacher told me that I wasn't gonna make it to see 18. She told me that when I
Really?
was in middle school. She said, "You and your boy ain't gonna make it," and he didn't make it. He died when he was like 17. You know what I mean? But I kept pushing. I mentioned that to you today because it has never left my mind. A person in the institutional domain as a youngster told me that I wasn't gonna be successful when I was already in an environment with unsuccessful people. See, I didn't have people to draw from and say, oh, that's what success looked like. I had to figure it out. My mom didn't graduate high school. She went and got
Really?
her degree. My mom had me when she was like 15 years old. So all of those, we were on food stamps. So all of those things that society said, those people over there, you know what I mean? They might
Yeah.
rob you one day, which probably was true back then. I might have robbed somebody one. But like, if I wouldn't have endured all that, I wouldn't have started CIME. I wouldn't go speak at high schools. I wouldn't go speak at the Boys and Girls Club. I mean, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Me having a dad made me the best dad because I did everything with him that I never experienced. Now he's just gonna go do whatever he thinks he's supposed to do because I showed him. But I didn't learn that from a dad. I learned that because it was absent and I wanted it. A couple of things to think on, I guess.
So when you say that, especially as a person, like I said, you're positive consistently. You're motivating. You're self motivating. What would you say to the person, that like you may not have had a dad, but then having their own children, not wanting to break a cycle because you had to, without a dad, determine what the best dad you could be is. So but that's a part of your, like, you find the nugget amongst these things. But for those that, was it a secret? I don't know. I mean, I'm asking, like, what I'm trying to understand is how does that reach others who too may not have had a dad, that might be a parent, mom or dad now, and not know what an example is, and therefore not provide or not work towards providing or changing a cycle. What do you do for those, or what do you say to those who feel like, I can't keep showing up for myself? When is it enough? When is investing in me? When does this end? What? Because again, for me, even with each breath forward, I find myself coming off of social media a lot because I'm like, even a breath feels hard. And so, what could you say to that person that might be at the cusp of that? What nugget of, dopamine or quick boost to say, this breath is here, you need to make it here?
I think it's not easy, right? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I can tell you a way in which I think, then you're gonna have to make the determination. And here you go. I think it's fairly simple for me, right? I wanted to be loved, so I loved. I wanted a hug, so I gave
Yeah.
a hug. I wanted to travel. So I facilitated travel. I wanted someone to speak kindly to me and nurture me. So I spoke kindly and I nurtured. I spoke the realness to my son. And I would challenge other people to speak that too. Like, hey, this world is hard, bro. But look, this is how I came up, and look at us. Look at us.
Mhm.
What mine is these days, a lot of my friends ask me, how do you and your kid have such a great relationship? And you'll hear people say, oh, you gotta be a parent. You can't be his friend. Like, that's my friend. That's a friend that is of me, like literally of me. And I treat him in the way that he will have understanding. I show him commitment. Like, my son is in shape. I take him out there. He ran with me. We lifted together. I wouldn't let
Mhm.
him quit. Hey, read that book out loud, my guy. Read
Mhm.
that. Why I got to read out loud? Because I want to know what words you can't pronounce and you don't understand. You know what? It takes time. You want to go outside and play? Put that brief together and let me see. Let me hear your homework. You know what I mean? That's why he's in school and he's on the National Honor Society. He's been
Okay.
brief. He was little. You know what I mean? He's been reading since he was little. All of those things that I learned through life that I was like, man, I wish I was a good reader, but I wasn't a reader.
Mhm.
Man, I wish my mom didn't have the education level. No knock on her, but my mom taught me how to be resilient and tough. And
Mhm.
and I had to go through a point in my life where I would say, do I need to teach Rakim how to fight? Or do I need to teach Rakim how to learn
Right.
conflict if you could? You know what I mean? So what I say is to the guys out there, don't think you hurting your child as a man because you hugged him and told him you loved him every day. Don't tell him to suck it up. You a man, don't cry. Because if you tell him don't cry, then he's going to be void of emotions from other people. Because when they cry, they're going to be like, oh, this person's not tough. It's going to be unconsciously that's going to go into their brain. I think you really got to say, man, I was hurt this way and I will not facilitate someone being hurt that way. So I know that was a lot, but that's how I view the world. The universe is going to put you where you're supposed to be. And you may think that it's insignificant. Like, you may think that your role in the universe is insignificant, but the universe can't go on without you. It's going to be hard. You're going to learn a bunch of hard lessons in life. You told me a lot of things about yourself and what you're dealing with. But you know what? Your story may keep somebody ticking because they were like you, and then they see you with a show out here talking to folks, right? Helping people get better. You may not see it that way, but someone's watching. I told you, I only associate with people that I think of are of high character. You may think I hang out with the haves and not the have nots. Some people may think that about me, but really, I just don't think you're a person of good character. No, I won't be on your show. No, you can't reach out to me and ask me to help you because I don't want to associate it with you. But it's okay. That's my life. That's my path. And it's no one else's. No one else can tell me what to do. Maybe at work, you know what I mean? But that's the only power that people in the military have on me is the positional power. That position of power is the only thing that they have on me. And ultimately, I'm not trying to brag, but I haven't worked with many people that are doing better than me. You know what I mean? So I say sit back, think about your life, think about the things that you want to accomplish in this world, and then go do on your own accord, your own name. You know what I mean?
I took all of that and say that one thing is do. That's the word, like do. I mean, you can put it on a hashtag, but that is how I receive it. Pictures, words are pictures to me, and that's how I process it. So do is something I'll just put in my toolbox. I asked you off before. Well, first, you have to tell it first. What's your favorite genre of music? Are you eclectic? You have eclectic taste?
Nah. My favorite genre, gangster rap.
Only
And only because a lot of people laugh about that, but you know what? I grew up like that. I
right.
identify with the words that I hear. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't identify with much other. I'm not a Romeo and Juliet type guy. So I don't need no R&B. I don't need no Cisco or no stuff like that. No, like I'll tell you back in the day, I can cut for a little to man. I like voice man, but I'm not a singer. But you know what? I can rap. So I identify with the streets. I identify with that world because I grew up in that world. I love it.
So then now, part two, in my petty little spirit. What is the one song, I don't know, blues, one song that you know the words to that someone would never believe you know the words to?
Oh man, I think I have a few, right? But I think I know the lyrics to Frozen. I don't ask me why, but you know what? I do sing that Lion King joint, that Akuma Matata. Yeah, only because when my son was little, he watched that movie like 1,000. That thing is, so I find myself every now and then humming those. And
First of all, when you said Frozen, my spirit was like,
I don't even know why. I just keep hearing that song out of time for a period of time.
everybody knows the words. I knew the words before I even watched the movie. It's ridiculous. I hate the words. I hate the song. I don't know how it lasted that long, and they can't cancel me because cancel culture is subjective. Yeah, I hate Frozen song. Let it go. Whatever it is. Let it go. Is it like let it go or let it snow? Let it go. Okay. Well, I asked you before if you could share and if I'm missing a subject, I'm trying to be all inclusive, but maybe an organization or an grassroots, the doers, the dreamers, the communities and cultures. What is one, not passion, but what cause would you like to bring to the audience this show to light? Is there, a certain group you work with, or is there work in the future? Is it your own? I'd love for you to share one of those, one of those selections because I have my own. I made a promise to a woman when I first started this business that I was going to try to show up for her until in August, by August. We're far beyond August. Still trying to show up for myself. But I keep her card with me all the time because I'm thinking when I can make that difference, even if it's in the most minute way, she's first in queue. Do you have a cause or maybe a group, anything like that you would like to bring to the attention of this?
Well, if I was to bring up anything, and I mentioned it earlier, I would just say, the Boys and Girls Club. There's a kid in there like me, just waiting for somebody to come show some love, or maybe come talk to them and tell them the story of their life. There's a kid sitting in there that need a resource that maybe you can provide. There's a kid in there that may need some homework, some help with some homework or something, and you can volunteer to go do that. And I tie that into my motivational network with CI. It's no different. It's just kind of like just putting it out on a bigger scale. I don't need anything from anyone. I just need someone to share a post. You know what I'm saying? So, because we never know who need to hear. Use one of the workshops, or request a workshop, because you never know who needs to hear it. But if you have the capacity to get up, go out there and touch a kid's life, I say you get up, you go touch a kid's life. Like you said earlier, you said all that stuff you just said, I took from that to do. I need to do something. Because talking about what you're going to do don't get you anywhere. But doing something shows others that you're committed. And the Boys and Girls Club, see, reach out, call somebody, see what you can offer, see how you can help. That's that cause. The youth of America is where we're at. So let's help.
Hands with our current state, economically, politically, the discarded aren't even in the equation, and so definitely want to go and do that.
Yeah, definitely. If you got something going on, maybe one weekend they just need somebody to come out there and holler at them. I'll come down, Antonio. So hold me to that.
Oh, matter of fact, we're gonna get to our game because I was sure gonna hold you to it. So here's the okay. Let me get things in order. Here's the thing. Can y'all see? Two hands that are not mine.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. You have to guess how many fingers I have up, but you can ask for two clues. Now, these are on tiers, right?
Okay.
Clues you can ask for are, is it on one hand or two? And is it even or odd?
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't get it right, I'll be letting them know that you'll be coming down clean, and we will both be able to be there, engage, and share your story. If I lose, but you get the same opportunity to reach out and say, I'm gonna need you to come do this, and I will. That's the deal. Okay? Either way, we are going to somebody's Boys and Girls Club and showing up the best way we can. Let me set my fingers. Give me 2 minutes. Do you count thumbs? Now, this is a crazy question. Some people be like, thumbs aren't fingers. No, that they're fingers. I don't know why people, but
Talk through that, but I know most people count all 10 as fingers.
that's what I just wanted to make sure. It took a while for me. Okay. So even if you guess, you get those 3 guesses. So you can say it's this and then ask. You get to give one answer. If it's not right, then you cash in, which of the 2 clues you can get at whatever, because there's 1, 2, 3 tiers, and then we'll decide how those 3 tiers work after you do all the magical stuff and put your cape back on and go to the gym at like some ridiculous time in the morning and like live life and be this amazing human. Ready, let's go. How many fingers?
Are they on one hand? Okay. I get 3 questions, right? Okay.
And you 3 questions, and you can guess. You can
Oh,
guess.
is it odd or even?
They are even.
8.
You went straight into, so you can make that guess, and if you got it wrong, so you still will do that also. Okay, so you get another guess because you should have gotten a guess before you used your what?
Okay, so 6.
6. So you could make that guess, and if you got it wrong, so you still will do that also. Okay, so you get another guess because you should have gotten a guess before you used your what?
Okay, so 6.
6.
Yeah.
I'm going in there Monday with stickers, and I'd still like to reach out and share your message. I see the clips, and I appreciate when you send my own back to me when I need it. So I definitely cannot wait to grow this and merge ecosystems and do what we are passionate to do, and that is change our pieces of the world so that as they overlap, we are, because I know that people think you could be too optimistic or you can want too much, and I don't know what that means when you simply want people to have peace, resources, infrastructure, food, life sustaining basic human needs. So however we're going to show up, and it will see. So
we'll make it happen. I got ideas. We'll make it happen.
well, you let me know because I'm working in an IKEA flex space. Once I'm done, I got merch to make, so that's why I had to push it. I tell you, it's the struggle and the hustle. It is, but I'm glad I got to talk to you because I had some hard days before. So this really was exciting for me, and thank you so much. Again, you are an amazing mentor, and you said something that I feel like I made that same remark. I can't hold my head down and be small for you. I can't do that. I have to step into my purpose, and the way I can do that is by saying you don't get to define my worth. You don't get to give me the timeline. But I'll tell you that you have reminded me in those times with what you allowed me to share on your own show and what you continue to mentor with me. So I take that forward as well. Thank you so much. And it's been an amazing time. I know you got things to get back to. Any outgoing message?
Always got a message. So this is my message to everyone out there who's listening in TV land, or if you're just listening to this from the voice perspective as well, is that he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. And what that means is that If you want to accomplish something and you put forth the effort and you seek the resources, the universe has a strange way of making it happen. If you continuously talk down on yourself, continuously worried about the negative, unconsciously it will creep into your life and you will wonder why you're living a negative life. But you accepted it, that negative energy from the universe. What was once said was, whatever you speak vibrates. You just got to understand whether you want it to be positive or negative. That's all I have. Let's go.
And do. I'm ending it off with do. And hashtag press forward. Thank you. I said your name. And you still uniform. We have grown. Okay, we got to link back up. We're going to make sure we got to do everybody. Do all those things. Each breath forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. It's such an honor. And I'll be talking to you soon.
All right.